Hi. So today's topic for editorial discussion is the Anna Bhagya fiasco. So what this article deals with? Every day or for the past week or past 2 weeks, whenever you open the Hindi newspaper, we used to see this particular article. Every day one article is there regarding OMSS, that is the open market sales scheme. That is what the OMSS is. So that is what this article also deals. It deals with what is OMSS, what is NFSA, what is Food Corporation of India, and how it can be improved. That is, it asks us to move beyond or look beyond this OMSS scheme and to rectify some of the structural issues with the public distribution system or the TPDS. So that is what this article deals with. So in order to get this thing running, first we'll see about the NFSA, National Food Security Act. We all know this act, right? We have already seen this act. UPSC has already asked questions from this act also. NFSA Act, both in prelims and mains, it has been asked. So NFSA Act, what is the NFSA Act? It is also dubbed as the Right to Food Act. It is also called as the Right to Food Act. So what this targets, what is the main objective of this act is that it tries to give food grains, especially rice and wheat, to citizens of India at subsidized rates. Subsidized rates in the sense we used to get this in ration shops, right? At least in Tamil Nadu we get it for ₹1. So that is what this NFSA is. It tries to give food grains, especially rice and wheat, at subsidized rate and covers around 75% of rural people and 50% of urban people in India. So yes, that is the first thing, and it gives us subsidized rate. So in Tamil Nadu we are getting at ₹1, and other states not. The maximum rate is 3, 2 and 1 per kg. It can be given at ₹3 or 2 or 1. It can be given. Okay, and the other thing is Antyodaya Anna Yojana. It is also part of this NFSA, Antyodaya Anna Yojana. So Antyodaya Anna Yojana is nothing but it pertains to the poorest of poor families or the Antyodaya families. So these families, they receive around 35 kgs of food grains per month. Regularly, in general, 5 kg is the max. 5 kgs is the maximum at subsidized rate. But for Antyodaya families, that is poorest of the poor families, they get 7 kg per person. That is 7 into 5. They have taken 5 as the threshold for a particular family. So 7 into 5, they get in total 35 kgs of rice or wheat at subsidized rate. So that is what this Antyodaya Anna Yojana is. And this NFSA Act also tries to give, also gives food for pregnant and lactating mothers. Pregnant ladies during their pregnancy and after childbirth, it gives to lactating mothers for up to 6 months of time. And also another thing with respect to this pregnancy and related issues is that it also tries to give, it also gives ₹6,000 as maternity benefit. It also gives 6,000 as maternity benefit for pregnant women. For pregnant women, it will not exceed 6,000. 6,000 is the threshold. And also it gives food for children. It gives nutritious food for children. And if children don't get this food security allowance, so the thing is, NFSA, it has been brought, to improve the food security in India. We all know what food security is, right? So food security is nothing but if food is accessible, affordable and available, that particular citizen or a particular country is said to be food secure. It has food security. So in order to achieve this particular state of food security, this act was introduced, National Food Security Act, and it has a lot of components. That is what we have seen. Yes, now move on to open market sales scheme. So what is this open market sales scheme? Before getting into OMSS, we have this small organization called the FCI, Food Corporation of India, which is a statutory body under the Food Corporations Act. So yes, what it does is that it procures food grains from farmers and stores it. It stores as a buffer. It can be used for various purposes. That is what we'll see. It is nothing. FCA is nothing but a statutory body under the Food Corporations Act that procures food grains from farmers. So why does it do that? First thing to be noted here is it is to procure from producers. There are a lot of producers, especially there are farmers, right? What FCI does is that it goes to it buys from the farmers, that is the producers, at MSPs, minimum support price, for rice and wheat. Especially they buy only rice and wheat. So it buys rice and wheat at the MSP. For a boost, it will be like a boost for the farmers also, right? So yes, that is the first major thing why FCI is doing this. And next is to meet the needs of the PDS. we have all these things, right? 75% it has to be given for rural places, 50% for urban places, and all these subsidized rates. For this, even to give it subsidized rate, we need rice, we need supply, right? So for that only, FCA also procures this food grains from various sources, especially the farmers. So yes, to meet the needs of the public distribution system given through the National Food Security Act. And next is price stabilization. Price stabilization is nothing but FCI tries to bring down the price of food grains. Recent times and all, the retail food inflation is growing on a large scale, right? Food inflation in the sense, rice and wheat and all other food grains and all, its price is increasing. In order to ward off this, in order to control the inflationary pressure on food grains and food in general, what FCI does is that it brings this, it uses this OMSs to push or to dispose some of the food grains it has. So we all know that demand and supply, when there is a mismatch, inflation can happen. When there is a mismatch, inflation can happen. So in order to address this supply mismatch, what FCI does is that it pushes its buffer, it pushes its stocks to the market, so that the prices of rice and wheat and all, it will come down. So that is the third major reason why FCI procures food grains, especially that of rice and wheat, price stabilization. So now coming to the open market sales scheme. So yes, we have already seen it is nothing but the selling of food grains in the open market by Food Corporation of India. How it does this is that it uses electronic auctions with predetermined prices to dispose of their stocks in the market, in the open market, and this is done on the platform called as the NCDEX, National Commodities and Derivatives Exchange Platform. On this platform only all these auctions takes place. So why is this OMSs resorted to? Why is FCI doing OMSs? The first thing is price stabilization. Already we have seen it in times of lean produce, especially in between harvest. When harvest is there, supply will be high. But in times of lean harvest, in between two harvests, there is this time period, right? In those times, supply will be less because this paddy and all is still growing. So this is what we call as lean produce month, or when the yield is low. All these things can happen, and during such times, the price of the food grains will increase or will go up. In order to stabilize these prices, OMSs is resorted to. So yes, that is one thing that has to be noted here. And the other thing is to dispose surplus stocks. It will dispose all the surplus stocks that it has in the open market. So open market can be resorted to by anyone. It can be retail chain holders, it can be large scale procurers or buyers, and all these person can use this e-auctions to procure rice from the Food Corporation of India. In recent times, last month, there was this new rules with regards to open market supply scheme. New rules were announced with regards to OMSs. The first major rule is that it limits the quantity that a single person can buy, that an individual can buy. Earlier, around 3,000 metric tons could have been brought by the single buyer. Could have been brought by a single buyer at around 3,000. Maximum amount is 3,000 metric tons. So what the new rules has done is that it reduces the amount to 10 to 100. 10 to 100 metric tons only can be brought by a particular individual in an auction. So that is what this has done. And when asked about the reason why it did this, what it said is it will boost small and marginal buyers. Like these 3,000 metric tons and all, only large buyers will interfere and buy. So by reducing the quantity that a particular person can buy, other players will also be accommodated into the auction system. So that is the rationale behind reducing this quantity. Another thing is it discontinues OMSs for states. We all know that states also give rations, and sometimes states will give more than what the NFSA tries to give. So in these times, through NFSA, FCA will allot some sort of food grains for these states. In order to give more to the people, what states do is that they use this OMSs to procure grains, and it will give to its own citizens, its own subjects. So yes, that is what the thing is. But now it has discontinued OMSs for states, so that states cannot go and use the OMSs and buy additional food grains apart from those allotted by the Food Corporation of India. So yes, and another thing is that it also limits private individuals can buy, they can sell it to states. But what has done is that it has stopped this thing. It has banned that private cannot buy from OMSs and sell it to the states. This is also put a barrier for this. So that is what the new rules talk about, limits quantity and discontinues OMSs for states. So what is the rationale for these new rules? What are the reasons behind these new rules? What FCI said is that it is better price stabilization. So yes, better price. What FCI says is that private will do a very good job than states in price stabilization. It will easily reach the customers. It will easily reach the people. So that is what FCI stated. Private players will do very good job than the state governments in price stabilization. That is the first point, the first rationale that FCI used. And the other thing is comfortable level of stocks. Comfortable level of stocks in the sense FCI will hold buffer stocks in times of emergency or for this price stabilization and all. It will use some buffer stocks. So what it has said is that by giving large quantities of OMSs, this comfortable level of stocks or this buffer stocks is getting reduced. So I cannot face the brunt of it. I need to have comfortable level of stocks of rice and wheat. So I am discontinuing OMSs for states or thereby reducing the quantity. So that is the second rationale that has been cited by FCI. So the third rationale why FCI has introduced this new rules is that coverage of others. So NFSA covers only a particular portion of Indian population and states also augment to a certain extent. But what about the remaining? When taken notes, when a survey is done, around 600 million people are not in the NFSA. They are not getting subsidized rations. They don't have a ration card. Subsidized food grains don't reach them. So this all is happening. So what FCI stated is that the government has a moral obligation to feed the other 600 million people. So that is why we are reducing, or we have introduced this new rules. So that is the three rationale that the FCI stated for the recent changes in OMSs. So how this article ends is that it suggests some structural reforms. What it does is that one major issue with the NFSA is that it is based on 2011 census data. A lot of transformation has been, lot of development and growth has been witnessed in today's context in 2023. So what this article suggests is that it can be the 2021 census has to be catalyzed, it has to be taken forward, and the measurements and the next NFSA should be based on the recent census. So that is one measure it suggests. And the other thing is that it suggests to go beyond rice and wheat. A lot of other states, they give, for example, Tamil Nadu gives oil at subsidized rate, it gives pulses at subsidized rate in our ration shops and all. That is being done. So what this article suggests is that it tries to go beyond. It suggests to go beyond rice and wheat. Not only confine yourselves to rice and wheat, but explore other avenues such as pulses and millets and oil that are also essential in the Indian cuisine. So that is what the article suggests. And the other thing is that it asks to crack down on fake cards. And improve the transportation systems and all other reforms, other structural reforms when it comes to reforming the NFSA Act. So this is how the article ends. Thank you.